Welcome to this week's update. We have a lot of visible changes and some big question marks on what and why. But let's see here. Going from French Broad Bridge has some big changes. The Parkway Bridge surprised the living daylights out of me this week and last week, but I'm starting to figure out that. South of the Parkway Bridge, the auxiliary road has some big changes that are confusing me as all get out. The road removal from Long Shoals to Glen Bridge is underway. Glen Bridge Road Bridge does not look like it's getting torn out. And, well, let's just see what it all looks like. Oh, heavens. South of the airport, they're getting ready for some big stuff, and they're surprising me a little bit with that too. But up we go to 191, and we start out coming out from under 191, almost immediately being able to see something happening. But we first got to get under the bridge, so up we go. Over the river and through the woods. Okay. Trying something. All right, we come out from under 191, and I can see it on a big screen, and it was a really big screen out my window, front windshield, but there's a couple of trucks, excuse me, right here at the beginning of the construction that are doing something. Can I see them? Over there on the left side, I think they were getting loaded. Or what are they? Oh yeah. They're doing shoulder work. So this is final work for the paving up here at the top. They're putting in the shoulders so that they can shift us over and use some of the shoulders for roadway when they do the lane shift to take up all this stuff. Big bunch of work going on with that. And that's going to probably get down to where they finish the paving fairly soon. But the other part of this is they have the rebar down all along the far side, all the way down to where they ended from paving this week. That was the other huge thing that happened this week. I think that they were literally pouring 24 hours a day, because they had lights on when I was coming through at 5 o'clock in the morning. So they have been absolutely going like crazy on this paving, and they got all the way down to the bridge, right there where you see it, right there. And they're going to go back. Maybe they have to re-prep the machines, I'm not sure, but they're getting ready to go back. There is digging right there at the bridge, and I'm not sure if they're digging it out to be at the lower level or if they're digging it out to put gravel down. I'm a little confused with what I'm seeing, but it just looks like they're getting ready to bring that whole thing down to the final grade. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what that looks like in the end. So we go along here. Can't see a whole lot of the work over there. Not a whole lot has changed on this straightaway. The big piles are still there, so whenever those get moved. And up the hill we go. So I passed a couple of people, and I was like, am I going to pass everybody before I get to the top? Nope. So I moved over, and besides that, there was that person slowing down. I'm sure the person behind me loved me for doing that, but hey, I did it. Coming up here to the top of the hill, the crane has been in use this week, and they were getting ready to do something, but I only saw it on the way back. They're moving a leg. Not sure why they're doing it right now, but it's going up. They were rigging it on the way back. They did get another leg piece. I wonder how many they're going to have, because it seems like 5 is going to put them at the right level. But they now have three down at the bottom and 2 up there. You should be able to see them. There you are. There's all 3. They have 2 up there. It's going to be a puzzle to see if they get anything else, but they've, from this point they're going to get a top cap and then start putting deck pieces on. So we're going to have the first deck pieces on before October. And here I was thinking that we were going to have to wait for the deck piece to get on until December. Nope, they are hustling on this. They are digging out all of the gravel further up, but they're also digging out this rock that they broke up. They had a chisel hammer in there blasting the rock apart this week for at least one day. I know I saw it one day, and I shared that as a post. So if you look up my picture posts, image posts, whatever they're called, because I was just stunned. I mean, they're breaking up the rock. Why? Anyhow, they must not have it at the right grade or something for what they want to end up with. Who knows? Maybe they're going to put a little whoopty in there since it's a steep hill, but it doesn't seem like it's long enough to have a good whoopty in there where it levels off a bit so that trucks can slow down. Who knows? Usually you see that about every 2 or 3 miles on the really big hills. So we've got grinding. They have ground out one entire lane, and they're not doing any more right now. So you got me. But they're continuing to prep this section for final width and leveling and all that. So if you can see that, wonderful. If you can't, sorry, I can't do any more than drive too far over on the lane. I hope that the side view gets this quite well with the GoPro. And over the hill we go. Coming down the other side, you can see the 𝐥𝐤 down there working, moving some stuff around. And we got, there's some other equipment. Maybe that's the 𝐥𝐤. Anyhow, they're moving some dirt around, and they're up here. They're digging out from bottom of this hill, going up towards Glen Bridge. And it appears that there was some mechanical stabilization there that they're removing, and they're going to possibly put down some fill dirt so that they can have a final compaction on it. You can see some of that over there, right there. It's much better on the way back. But they've got lots of heavy equipment over there doing digging and other stuff, but they aren't touching the bridge yet. So you got me. Oh yeah, over here is the going up the hill to the airport, going whatever, down the hill on the level and then going back up. They had mechanical stabilization coming out. The gravel and the mats are being pulled out, and you can see some of it if you have a big enough screen. But they've got the big truck, the 60, 70 ton dump truck there, and they're filling it up with gravel. I got a really good look at the gravel going into it. Where they're moving it to is beyond me, because I don't see, I mean, I see piles of gravel around, but I don't understand where it's going. I don't know. Maybe that's for when they get the prep done. But there was also, is it right here or is it back there? There's a bulldozer moving dirt. I think it's right here. Big old D6. Yeah, that's it. He is cutting the ground. I saw, on the way back, I saw a pile of dirt come up, and I'm like, that's freshly cut. He's actually lifting the dirt off and pushing it over. They're moving that dirt out. So, you know, I don't know what's going on, but I would say that it's not far enough down on that grade, and the stuff down at the bottom isn't far enough up. So they're doing some flip-flop on the dirt there. And I had a lot of people driving faster than me, so I had to move over a couple of times. Really kind of annoying, but oh well, it happens. They're grinding up there. They have the little grinder. That does not look like the grinder that they're using over between Glenbridge and Long Shoals. It looks smaller to me. Just a little bit tighter fit on some of the stuff. And they've got the median there, still waiting to be poured. They're doing, are they doing some shoulder work? They're cleaning out that area in there, and we'll find out how that turns out. I don't know what exactly is going on, but there are some things happening. They do have that great big sign post castle thing finished up. I think that's it right there. And they have another one set in place with the forms on it right there. So they're going to be putting in another of those really big cantilever hang across the road signs there, and there are going to be several dozen tons of concrete underneath it holding it down and keeping it from swaying. I still think that there's another one somewhere down here, but I'm also thinking that I'm wrong and that they're just drainage spots. I know that I saw a drainage spot on each side of the bridge that needs to have final grading put around it so it'll actually drain into it instead of being a post out of the ground. I guess we're already past the bridge. This silence wall is blowing my mind. It's no, this one isn't the one. The way station is the one. But either way, big silence wall. They may do a little bit on this side to contact that hill. Either way, big RV place with the big flag. Interesting how all RV places seem to have a big flag on them. They are working here. You can see over under the bridge there is a 𝐥𝐤𝐤 excavator actually pulling up concrete and putting it in trucks, concrete and asphalt. So right there you go, right there. He just dumped a shovel full. They are pulling all that up, and they are, you know, getting ready to connect the exit to the bridge. And I did see why they dug that hole on the other side, but I'll show you that on the way back. Excuse me. The crane has been assembled, so they are ready to put in the new beams or lift the piles in place. Maybe they'll pile drive them, maybe they'll dig them and pour them. we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. They did hollow tubes on the other side, so I imagine that the material, the stuff they're going to put the piles into is not that different, less than 100 feet away, 100 yards away. So 100 feet, good heavens. So they're probably going to use the hollow tube concrete form again to create the piles and legs for the bridge on the other side of the railroad. And this person was pulling up on me, and I went over to see some stuff, and they got a little closer, so I went ahead and moved over. Now this is the way station coming around the corner here, and this wall has had a lot of good progress, but they're also gonna make it a lot longer. I was really surprised with how many legs there are sitting there on the other side of the bridge waiting to be put in. At least 1 to 2 dozen, I think it looked like. But they're getting a lot of pieces in. I don't quite understand why they do it in the way that they do, because they leave a hole and then they have narrow spots and wide spots, but either way, there's a lot of legs in place, and as you can see, there's another dozen, maybe 2 dozen legs waiting to go. So they're going to take this silence wall all the way to this hill here. From the way it looks, it's going to be a massively long wall. The other thing is they've got more paving going, and this guy decided that he didn't want to wait for me to pull over. I mean, what's the difference? Yeah, whatever. I drive hard too, but when it's heavy traffic, what's the blasted difference? Anyhow, there's some shoulder work as well. They have, was that the paver? I don't remember. There was a paver closer to Fletcher. There was shoulder work closer to Hendersonville. So probably the shoulder work has yet to be seen. So here we go. Here we are, Sunset in Camden. Let me tear myself from your side. The gravel grinder is gone, but they have a gravel pile there now, which was interesting. But then there's also another storage yard just down this hill. You can see it on the way back. But I had to tuck over here so that I could see the work on this side. I figured if I didn't pull over, I'd miss the chance to see the Clear Creek Bridge. And it looks quite complete. Got silence wall going here, and the bridge itself, you know, I'm not able to tell you what exactly is being built, but that looks very complete, and they're going to be putting the sides on very soon. A lot of paving equipment over here waiting for the shoulder work to get going here. And I had a little chuckle here. There is a silence wall that looks like it's about a foot tall on the top of that hill. And it's like, really? That's not doing anything at all. Oh well. Silence walls are silence walls. So I didn't go off the first exit so I could do the cloverleaf and get a nice view of the Back of the World No Clothing mural, and it looks neat. Those blank spots that I thought had just been ignored were waiting for something to be finished, and she finished them beautifully. I think it's 100% done now. It did not look like there were any more spots here, and I had to hustle past that truck. So let's take the cloverleaf. It would be so awesome to be able to have a drifting competition on these cloverleafs. You know, that would be tremendously dangerous, but also tremendously fun to be able to just sit in a cloverleaf and watch the cars go drifting by. Yeah, drifting competitions. Oh well. So here we go on this, and take a look at the left side view. I made sure to make a nice stop. Got some beautiful work here. There weren't any cars coming. I made sure to check that. I didn't quite stop, but I scanned back and forth with my handheld a little bit. It looks gorgeous. It is beautifully done, beautifully finished, and I believe that it is 100% now. So I had to hustle here, and then I started to come over, and that person just about got clipped by me. I did not see them. They were coming up a little faster than I expected. Anywho, let a couple other cars go by. Not a whole lot to tell you right here. I still wonder what's going to happen with that on-ramp. We'll find out. I don't know if it's going to be redone or not. But it probably has to be repaved at least. So maybe they'll tear up some of the old stuff and do something. Either way, right side is done. They're going to have to take all this stuff out when we have the lane shift over to the other side. That's going to be a huge deal. But it should go just as quick as everything else up to this point. I mean, they really don't have to change the roadbed out much. They just need to make sure it's all properly compacted and throw the stuff down. Now look over to the right. Coming up this hill. Maybe I already missed it, maybe didn't. Yeah, there's the gravel pile right there. And then you can see another big old pile of rock up here, just there in that, there you go, in that gravel pit there. So they've got two big old piles of gravel. They're not grinding it anymore there. So, not sure why, but they've got a couple of big old piles of gravel. One's dark, one's light. Don't know what the difference is. Maybe one of them's concrete? That's a thought. Probably is. Anyhow, we've got all 3 lanes of concrete down. Up here, maybe not. I don't remember. Anyhow, they're done on the left side, and you can see that that is absolutely true because they're putting down shoulders right up here. And there's all the paving equipment putting down shoulders. So this side is done, and I guess they're going to move us over to the other side before they do all the median work. But you know, that's not going to be a whole lot longer because this just really isn't taking a whole lot of time. Like I said, they didn't have to change the roadbed hardly at all. Just make sure it was a proper grade, put down the under gravel filter, and put the concrete on top. There's the silence wall. That is going to be one very long silence wall. Kind of funny they don't have one on the other side. Maybe they will because of all those subdivisions going in right there at that bridge. But lots of heavy equipment here at the way station. Still got those rebar castles over there. Obviously they're going to put in a lot of those. But they can't do that until they get everybody on the outsides of the road, which is not going to be very soon. Well, not extremely soon. Whatever I mean. it's going to be at least another couple of months before all this gravel, I mean the paving, which that's the paver right there, I think. Paving and other shoulder work for the other side to finish that side completely. Then they'll block everybody out of the center while they do all the center work and put in the signpost castle things and put in the median. So not an incredible amount of work left to do on the concrete, but there's a whole lot more work to do that's going to take them into next year on the shoulders and the median and all that. So I'm pretty sure that the other side will not be finished until between February and April, maybe. Just simply because the northern stuff isn't going to be done anyhow, so they can't go to full lane width, and they've got to do all the median and shoulder work to finish off everything properly. But I wanted to look at that because of the bridge coming up here. It looks like they're doing a tiny bit of work on that asphalt and gravel, paper, whatever, concrete. But the big news is right here at the bridge. You can sort of see it from this one. Be sure to look at the right side view. They have taken this out. They are digging out all the rock and prepping for beginning the build. But there's also mechanically stabilized work going on here. That must be what they dug that hole out for. They found some dirt that just could not support the weights that they needed, and or they couldn't slope it far enough. But there's the excavator digging up concrete again. So they had to put in mechanically stabilized earth. I'm guessing that it would have done a, what is that, eminent domain push out of the people there. I don't know, maybe, whatever. Either way, they put down mechanical stabilization. They didn't leave a big slope. And so that was a lot in a very short amount of time. And I was thinking about that and wasn't watching myself turn that corner properly. Glad there wasn't a car there. That could have been ugly. There's the castle again. Getting ready to... Wait a minute, is that the one? Anyhow. I think that was the signpost. And you can see... There were drainage spots up here at the bridge. So we have a basically complete section of road, waiting for everything else and waiting for the center line signs to be finished. There's the drains before they let it go to full width. I wonder what they're going to do on the bridge, because they can't put the standard median in there. It's too heavy. It'd overstress the bridge. That'll be neat to see. I wonder what that's going to end up being. Some kind of light concrete, but they still have to have enough crash resistance. I don't know what that is. What do they do on bridges? Somebody let me know, because I know they're going to have something there. It can't be too low, can't be too light. Anyhow, getting into traffic. Gee, big surprise, we have traffic. But it wasn't too slow. And we had... Yeah, I pulled over here. I wanted to make sure I remembered to get off at the airport this time, because last time I forgot to get off at the airport. And I knew that there was a big traffic jam, which we just saw coming down. So I wanted to make sure I got off at the airport. And that is Fanning Bridge Road, if I remember correctly, because it's the one right beside the Ag Center. So we have the section that they're prepping and digging out, grinding out for final work on the median there. That's going to be, you see that grinder, there it is. That grinder just looks smaller to me. Like it's not the big one that they use up there, but the one that they usually use down there isn't there, so maybe it's the same one. Either way, so there's coming back up to the airport, and we're gonna come back in a little bit and head further north. Had a little stop to make here, and I'm gonna cut it off. Turn around. Okay, coming back the other way. Going past the hotel there and the Longhorn Cab, whatever it is, place, I was able to duck in between these two cars. You can see over there they have tractors moving stuff. Be sure to watch the left side, because coming up here, that was a big old pile of dirt that tractor was moving. And I made sure to get in between these trucks, which means we can't see a whole lot going forward, but then I did a jump on somebody because they were sitting still just a moment too long. Get on. Oh, and there goes an airplane. He was climbing pretty steep too. So we go past a couple of cars, trucks, and then the other side starts to move. And I was able to jump in front of that Subaru right there. He sat still just a moment too long, so I punched it. Chirp the wheels a bit. Okay, you can see the Trackhoe excavator there digging out dirt, and it's getting moved somewhere. Then you can see the pile in front of this tractor here. He is pushing a lot of dirt. He is really taking the grade down right there. So they're changing the slope of the hill right there. It remains to be seen what that's going to look like. And then we come down the hill, and you can see over on the left side over there, the excavator is pulling out gravel, and the 70-ton dump truck, it's 35 tons plus 30 tons of, or maybe it's 30 tons plus 35 tons of material. Either way, the big heavy equipment dump truck is sitting there, and it's full of gravel. So they're moving the gravel out from the mechanical stabilization. You can see some of the mats there. And I was watching in front of me, which I'm glad I was, because if I was paying that much attention, I would have rammed that car. They've got some of the mats there out, and so that's going to be redone with some more dirt fill. And since they're moving it over some in a way that's going to be narrower than what was before, I think, at least a little bit. Anyhow, some change is going to be made because of the Glenbridge Road bridge. It's different. Like I said before, it's coming up from the bridge, and they're doing something there, making big changes. Again, they're doing something at Glenbridge Road. On the south side, they've done a little bit of work, and I keep passing by trying to catch them doing a little bit more, and they never really do a whole lot. But the saddest part is the other side. Some home developer is putting in a subdevelopment there, and they don't have a silence wall. And that's just going to be one of the worst spots to have a house. I yeah, I hope they do something for taking out some of the noise and pollution. I mean, good heavens, that's just, what a horrible place to build a house. Anyhow, not my decision. Somebody's going to make a lot of money off of it. You can see over on the other side, they have the one lane done, and they got trucks going in there, taking gravel and dirt to other places, concrete and stuff, because they're digging all that out. Don't know what the grinder is going to be doing. But we get to go over the hill here. I don't know that they're going to have to change a whole lot on the other side, but maybe they're going to move the lanes closer into the hill, because they did have to build a whole bunch on the outside to make it 4 lanes wide, and there's a wreck there. That was what the slowdown was about. So now we get to hustle. In order to get the 4 lanes to be able to move everybody over, but then they didn't have much, if any, shoulder, so they're having to put down, to widen the road a little bit more to get enough shoulder, and they may be pushing the road a little bit more into the hill, so they may be cutting the hill back a little bit to get the road over far enough. One way or the other, there wasn't enough space there, so they're not going to have to change a whole lot on the outside unless they did mechanical stabilization and they want to use fill dirt. We'll see how that works out. And, you know, just a lot of things that I don't know about are going to be done, and we'll just see how it works out. But hustling over the hill here, coming up to Long Shoals. I know I saw them moving the grinder on a truck this week, because they went outside the exit and were going down the main old paving. So coming over the hill, not a lot changed in the less than an hour or so. Less than 2 hours. But they did have something going on up at the top of the hill that was neat to see. I kind of wish I could have slowed down, but I had people trying to go faster all around me. So I wasn't able to, but you can see the auxiliary road. They are still digging it out. I wonder when they're going to take those sheets out. The stabilization sheets that they put on the side of the bridge, because those have to come out for them to be able to re-slope that ground. But here I saw the crane had been moved and it looked like something was going on, so I was looking close, and they've got a leg rigged up. Might not be able to see it from this shot. Quick glimpse. Be sure to watch the left-hand view. They had a leg fully rigged up and ready to lift. One of those ones that they had underneath the right side. What is that? The east side bridge, to keep it stable for all that time while they were building. They're setting the same thing up on the other side, but the height of the leg isn't tall enough, so maybe this is just prepping for that final height and anchoring and stabilizing and all that. We will know how tall that leg is when they put the top cap on. Coming down the hill here, not a lot happened visibly at the bridge, but you know, they have all of the bolts to put on, all of the plates to prep for. There are many, many things that have to happen to put the plates down so that they can pave it. This section looks like they've just been driving over it now, like they've got it at the grade they want and they're just leaving it for travel. But there is a big change on the other side of the bridge. I did have to slow down a little bit so you get a little bit of a look here. There's lots of guys walking back and forth on the bridge, placing stuff and building. Not sure exactly what it is that they're doing, but they're doing a lot of stuff. And on the far side of the bridge, not doing any crane work right now, but they're digging. Excavator there is digging up dirt and maybe gravel so they can take it to grade or move stuff around. More gravel sitting there. I mean, they're taking all this gravel out of the mechanical stabilization and using it everywhere. But the other big news is they've turned the pavers around and they are prepping them, servicing them, and getting them ready to go back north. I imagine that that will be happening maybe no earlier than Tuesday, because it always takes them most of a week to get those fully turned around and cleaned up and ready for going the other direction. So it might not even happen. They might not pave next week. They may start a week from Monday. Anything's possible. But I imagine if they don't have a full week to do it, they're not going to. So I'll say that they'll do a lot more prep work and setting them up, and then they'll pave a week from this coming Monday. Because that's basically what they did this time. And it takes them always at least 3 to 5 days to get those turned around and serviced after running them. Shoulder work there. They have moved down a long way, so they're hustling on that shoulder work. And well, that's a full run. We have gone from I-40 down to Hendersonville and back. And this is basically an 80-mile round trip for me, plus some, because I did a couple other side things. So help me out with Patreon or whatever. I'm still working on the time-lapse videos. Got 6 of them going, and it's getting interesting. When I get the time to do more, I'm going to take the handhelds and do those as well, because that's some cool shots. But if you made it this far, thank you so much. It's awesome to have you with me on these trips, and do all the comment, like, subscribe, and everything. It's neat to see a finished road, and it's fun to watch the progress. This is a lot of big progress this week, with more to come. Unfortunately, some of it is a little bit out of sight with the prep work, but it's going to be neat to see that French Broad Bridge get paved, and the Parkway Bridge get stacked. That is an amazing piece of engineering. So I will see you next week. Thank you for your time. Have a good week. Bye-bye.